Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate everyone that is here today, that has come to our house party. This is Ron and Angie's house party. If you've been following us, you know that we've been showing you how to purchase in a pandemic, and we really felt the need to actually have something that was a little bit more intimate, so that way we can ask certain questions that everyone is needing, that everyone is looking for. All right. So one of the things, if you don't know who I am, I'm Angelina. I'm with the Deals with Angie team. I'm actually part of Excel Real Estate. Recently joined, great brokerage firm to work for and thoroughly enjoy. We have the same mission when it comes to home ownership. One of the things I want to start off with too, before I go a little bit more about myself, is home is where your story begins, and I will help you start your story. And that's what homeownership is. It's about beginning your story, your journey, your memories, all types of things. And also, not only that, the beginning of wealth and everything for you and your family too, as well. And so, like I stated again, I'm Angelina Mcfadden. I am a broker associate and a realtor. Just to kind of give you a little bit more insight about me, I am a wife, I am a mother of three children. I am born and raised here in South Carolina, originally from Greenwood, South Carolina. And I thoroughly enjoy living here in Columbia. I went to school at USC and have been here ever since. I believe in being a part of the community. I've chaired on certain groups, boards, as well as I believe in really, if I can help the community, that's what I'm all about too. And so I really understand the importance of homeownership when it comes to things, and so that's another reason why I enjoy what I do. To give you kind of a little bit of background about who I am and how I field, for from 2007 to 2013, I did deal with foreclosures. I was there during the foreclosure boom. I saw the homes that when we went from 300 each month to foreclosure to over 1,000. I got the calls of people that were losing their homes. And when it came time for me to decide on what it was I wanted to do and what I felt my purpose was, I really felt the need to take that expertise that I learned in foreclosures, and I apply it today when it comes to my clientele, when it comes to purchasing as well as selling. All right. Now, our mission is what we aim to achieve. Our mission is to provide our clients with home buying and selling process that is easy, detailed, professional, and to help achieve a long-lasting legacy for generations to come. And for those who don't understand, you can use real estate to build that wealth within your family and for your legacy too. Three reasons why you should work with me. One, I am knowledgeable about the market. I really take the time to prepare and also to research. If I don't know, I am willing to find out the answers. Not only that, we're also committed to helping you to accomplish your real estate goals. And also, we're hands on. We're gonna help you guide through the process. I mean, how many of you all heard people they brought and they didn't know what was going on? They just know they got a house. Well, we really believe in actually having a little bit more hands-on to kind of guide you through what needs to be done, so that you feel empowered about your decisions and not just feel that okay, I'm in a home and I don't know what else to do. We always get this question asked a lot. Okay, what's the benefit of working with a realtor? Well, the benefits of working with a realtor, it means basically that we are a part of the association, but we're held to a higher standard. We are mandated to go and take code and ethics classes, and those code and ethics protect you, the clientele. They protect you when it comes to the negotiations, confidentiality, as well as other things. So it is important if you can be able to work with a realtor. Not to say that if they're not a realtor, that they don't have ethics, but with realtors, you actually have something that if anything happens legally, you have recourse. All right, so let's talk first about a little bit about what selling your home. You know, for all you sellers in the room, I know you guys are jumping for this. You know, it is a great time for a seller's market. You know, we're seeing values that are increasing at in rates that we have never seen before. And so, if you're in here today, one looking to yourself, hey, this is a great time for you. Now, as far as with our approach when we're doing things from a seller's market, one of the things we're going to look at is as you all know, like we're on right now. I hope I'm hiding your faces right now, but we have this live
Yes.
on the screen right now.
Yes.
These are things that we're utilizing. We're in that new field, that new stage right now, new era, to whereas internet is where it's at. I mean, I can count numerous of clients that have purchased homes on the internet, and they have not seen the home until after we have closed. They got the key, and now they're going into the house. So we definitely have to utilize that as well as the social media. But at the same time, though, the traditional advertising, the traditional, door to door networking with other agents, that also still works. With talking to clients, talking to other agents to see what's going on, finding out what their buyers are needing, and putting our properties on the map for you. Those are other things that we do to kind of help you get that great value. And again, our marketing strategy includes the digital, but also print as well, because print media still goes a long way when people have something formally in their hands. And one thing about right now, you know, I used to say you got to price it right, but right now, this market, any price is right.
Mhm.
Because we're just in that type of market right now, which is why you really want to make sure that if it's something that you're interested in, you want to get started on right now. We do come out with it comes to your property as far as with staging. Staging doesn't necessarily have to mean that you have to put new furniture in your house. Staging can be that when we're going in, that we're looking at your home, how buyers look at your home, things that they're going to think about, things that may either put your home above the others or can sometimes take you off the list. We're looking for those things for you. So prior to us doing any listing, prior to us doing any photos, I do come in, I do a consultation where we just kind of basically just walk through the home, see what's there, see what things we can be able to change. And not only that, I provide you with little tips and tools of what you can be able to do to really showcase your home in the best manner. And as always, professional photography is hands down always the best. That is something here at the Deals with Angie team that we provide. I understand the benefits of having a professional photography. You don't want your home being listed at $600,000 and you have a crooked cell phone from a picture. It's not really showcasing your property the best way that it can. And not only that, photographers really have a good eye too of helping us either see things we may need to change or either bring certain amenities about your home that will actually also kind of pique those buyers' interest as well. And of course, when you get started listing, you'll be able to see your homes on all these sites. Everyone's thinking, oh, I need to have a home on Zillow. I need to have my home on this. I need to have my home on that. Well, the good thing also with working with an agent is that you could be able to, when you get signed up with us and we have your home market on the listing, it is going to be on those sites. It's going to be on every site for where buyers are looking at that are working with agents. Because if you don't know, when a buyer is working with an actual agent, that agent puts them into a system called a multiple listing service. And from there, they're able to put in their criteria. And so when I go in and I list those detailed criteria about your home, guess what happens? Pops up directly to that buyer. So regardless whether they're looking at Zillow or not, if your home is exactly what that buyer is looking for, whether it has the 4 bedrooms and a garage, a pool in the back, those types of things, it's going to pop up immediately. And trust and believe me, as soon as I put your listing in, what I like to provide to clients, there's an activity sheet that actually shows this is how many people your home has just gone out to with me just hitting the enter button and making a line. Okay? Marketing stats. Guys, I just pulled this as of March 13th of this year. Okay? So this week, 123 properties sold in Columbia.
Wow.
123. The median sales price was $240,000, guys. 240. Do you not know just a couple of years ago our median price was 168?
Wow.
$240,000. And the average sales price was $258,190. That's what type of market we have right
It's incredible.
now. Now, a lot of times people ask, what is a CMA? How do we come up with your pricing? Well, a CMA is basically a comparable market analysis. What we do is us agents, we have access. I have access to, I can see, just like I gave you how many homes sold, I can see what they sold for. I can also see the terms of it. And so what I do is I can be able to compute that, compare it to your home, and I can show you with your home in your area, the same 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, exactly how those are selling. And that is kind of how we come up with our marketing. Now, a lot of people are like, well, Angelina, I see a Zestimate on Zillow. Can I use that? Well, the thing is about with Zillow is that Zillow kind of pulls a lot of things from your tax assessment, and your tax assessment is going to always be lower than what your actual value is. And see, they don't have the insight like we do that we can actually be able to look and see, okay, this particular home in your neighborhood sold at this, and but they had these other amenities. You have more of these amenities, so you may be able to gain more. That is kind of the benefit when you work with the Deals with Angie team, because you don't want to leave that money on the table just because you're looking at a Zestimate and versus having us be able to give you a true analysis. Main thing, get started today. This right here is just a timeline of what to expect. You know, what we do is we have to definitely get your listing agreement signed. We're going to do the property walkthrough like I talked to you about prior to getting the photos. We're going to go over seller disclosures. And you don't have to, the beauty about this, guys, when you're working with us is that you don't have to try to figure these things out. We're going to be here to guide you step by step. So we will provide you with the seller's disclosures. And if you don't know, for everyone who's selling a property in South Carolina, you have to fill out those seller disclosures. And people think because they don't have an agent that they don't have to fill those out. You do. And the good thing is, as a seller, you want to fill those out. You know, our job is all about protecting you and making sure that you don't have to worry about anybody later on either trying to sue you or trying to be compensated by you for something that you might have known about the property that you never did disclose. And without those disclosures, you have no recourse. Another thing, property preparation, that's where we talk about how we're going to go through that staging for you. Just making sure that your home is show ready before we make it live. Because trust me, as soon as we hit that button, people gonna be lining up. And then next, the list has been added. Prior to us making it live, though, I do believe in making sure that you see the description that we're going to have, as well as the photos. There may be a picture out there that you don't want to have seen, so I feel it's important that before we make it live, I send you kind of like a mock of the listing, and you can actually literally go through it and check every photo. And once we have your stamp of approval, we make it live. All right, and to next to my other set of groups in here, buyers. As this is still good for the sellers, let me tell you, it's even great also still for the buyers. I know you're hearing all of the stories what's going on, but guys, it's still a great time to buy. Money is still cheap for the dollar, and you're still able to qualify for these huge amounts that we have never seen before. So you still want to take care of it. So what we do to help you kind of buy your home for the next ease, you know, one of the things that we do is step one is we talk to you about what your goals are. Because you may have short-term goals. You know, if you're like, hey, Angelina, this is my starter home. I really want to one day move to this place within 5 years. So I want to get somewhere to where I can either keep it as a rental or somewhere where I can be able to get in good for a good price and then maybe sell it or later utilize it to purchase the next home. You know, long-term goals. If you're like, Angelina, I'm retiring. I want to stay here. I need a home that's going to have X, Y, and Z because I don't plan on moving anymore, which is what I keep telling my husband. Next, who's going to be the buyers? You know, that's important. Are you and your spouse going to go together? You know, is it that? I mean, I recently had to where it was the spouse, the husband, wife, and the son that went in to purchase the home. You do have that where you have families who are purchasing homes together, especially if they're already living with one another, because it helps the process be a little bit easier. Who's going to be on the title? You know, a lot of people think that, oh, well, this person has to be on the mortgage, and so therefore I can't be on the title. That's not true. You could have one person on the mortgage, and then both you and your husband or you and your wife can be on the title. And those are things that we kind of discuss with you too, along with your closing attorney. Your desired monthly payment. Guys, this is so important Because the one thing that I do not want to happen is when you get in a home, is that you are seeing something higher and you get sticker shock. A lot of, as when a lender, when Ron comes up, he explains, they're going to approve you for the max that you qualify for. It is our job to find out what your budget actually is. So that way we can be able to make sure that when you get in there, it's all about you being comfortable. Like I told you, my background is dealing with foreclosures. And so I don't want to put you in any type of predicaments to where you end up in that process. So the monthly budget is not just only important to you, but it's also very important to me too. Renting versus buying. I was a professional renter for 17 years. I rented for so long because, like I said, I worked in foreclosures. I was afraid to buy. Well, let me tell you something, when you buy, you are looked at differently. To creditors, you are looked at differently when you start a business. You are looked at differently all around because it shows stability when you buy. And not only that, guys, you are actually putting money towards something that is benefiting you and your family. You know, Ron and I, we do series all the time and segments that you can see online on our Facebook pages where we actually show people how you can take real estate to make it to where you can build wealth. 90% of millionaires use real estate to get that income and that wealth. Step two, the pre-approval process. Now, I'm not going to go into too much depth because this is kind of where Ron's going to come in a little bit more for you all. But when it comes to the pre-approval amount, they're going to look at things which comes to your credit scores, your down payment. They're going to talk about closing costs, earnest money, and of course interest rates, which I'm sure you all have heard about that. And another thing is loan options. There are so many more loan options besides FHA. Everyone just thinks of FHA, conventional. There are so many more types. And so that's one of the reasons why we believe in partnering up with people like Ron to where you can understand all the things and the options that are available to you. Because it may just be that FHA may not be the only option and there's a better option. And even if FHA is your only option, we can be able to advise you on what you can do to make sure that you're still in a great program. Now, once we get you pre-qualified, the lender's going to tell us, okay, Angelina, this is what John Doe is qualified for. From there, what we're going to do is that's when we take that amount. You and I will have another discussion in regards to what you're looking for in your home. And I'm going to do more than just, okay, how many bedrooms do you want? I'm going to talk to you about what do you do in your home. Because I recently closed on a home and she was a baker. So with her having a baking business and knowing that's her hobby, she needed certain space in her kitchen a certain way. Those things were important to her. If I have someone where I know that somebody wants to put a pool in the backyard. Well, if I know they want to put a pool, I'm not going to take it to a house that's on the edge of a cliff. I got to make sure that I do my due diligence and we have these discussions so that way I can better serve you. The next thing is schools, demographics. Now, as agents, we're not able to technically tell you where there's a good school district. So when it comes to those things, I always tell buyers, make sure you do your homework. Make sure that you're looking at these things, checking these school districts out, checking out these neighborhoods. These are the things we kind of work together on. So when we get started, we're ready. Like I said, things are dropping, and as soon as we make them live, they're being taken off. We have to hit the ground running. And then again, also, I know I have here average sales price versus average list price, but I'm just going to be honest with you all. If it's listed for 200, be prepared to go over 200. We have been spoiled for a while with the foreclosure boom that we were able to do a lot of negotiation, especially here in our market. The truth is that that's not available at this moment. I know that you may have it. And you're going to have people who have bought within the last 2 years going to say, oh, when I bought my house, I didn't have to worry about this, and I was able to negotiate, and I got this, and I got that. And you know what? They probably did. As a matter of fact, I helped them do that. But the reality of it is that right now, things have changed, and right now, you're going to have to do a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive when it comes to your offers. But you don't have to go about it alone. That's what we're going to be doing as far as with assisting you. and making sure that you feel comfortable for one and understanding what you're actually submitting. Also, showing appointments. You know, you and I will work together as far as with showing appointments. With everything now being so quick to jump off the market, what we're having to do now is a lot more virtual. I have various tools that I set up with my clients to whereas, because I have clients that are nurses, I have clients that sometimes they're out of town. I have to be their eyes and ears for them. And so we do have those types of things that's available. So if you are stuck at work and you're not able to come, we can go out there and show that property to you, let you know the things that we see. And to be honest with you, sometimes I've had clients who say, Angelina, your virtuals, I paid attention more than when I was in person because I literally point out so much stuff that's there and they have no choice but to see it versus looking around at all the amenities. Making an offer. Like I stated, it is more of an aggressive time right now. So our main thing is just basically guiding you and understanding the offer process. But the one thing that we ask from you is that you have patience with us and this market during this process. You know, I have clients to where they have literally been submitting offers after offer. And it's not that they're not giving their best. It's just that we have that much competition going on. But don't fret, because what I always say and I always tell people, what's for you is for you. And we're going to nail that one. But we're going to do it by working together. Working together, making sure that we're putting forth our best each time, and just really just getting out there, making ourselves accessible to see these properties so that way we can also be able to put the offers on. Now, with offers, things that's not, it's more than just the price that's attached to the offers. You also have things like contingencies, whether it be inspection contingencies, whether it be appraisal contingencies, or it could even be a closing contingency. You may have to sell a house. For my sellers, because I have some sellers in here that need to sell and also want to buy. You have those type of contingencies too. When it comes to those things, you have to make sure that you're with someone that understands how these things work for you. Because right now, there are a lot of people who are losing earnest money because they didn't understand that, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that when I did a due diligence period, this may happen. I didn't realize that when I signed X, Y, and Z, that meant that if I found something I didn't like, that it was going to come back. That's what it's all about, and that's why you want to make sure that you're with someone who's hands-on with explaining those contracts to you, that you understand this is what I'm offering, and knowing how we can use those offers to help you throughout the process. Now, when it comes to after you have done your offer and we have shown the properties and we have landed in one, now we are under contract. We are under contract, people. So everybody's like, okay, I'm under contract now. What? Well, the thing is now is that even though you may have stated, hey, okay, I'll take this property as is, there are rights to where you can be able to still inspect the property. My recommendation to all my clients is that I recommend that you get an HVAC inspection, a home inspection where they actually go in and check things like the electrical sockets and making sure that the hot water heating works, and then also a termite inspection. Now, with certain loan types, the termite inspection may actually be required, but we're a termite bound state, so you definitely want to make sure that there's no recurrent activity going on. And not just that, the termite inspection also looks for things like mold and mildew issues too as well. Now, have I had clients waive inspections? I have. And you don't necessarily have to have an actual inspector to do your inspections. You may have an uncle who's a contractor and he knows and he can build any and everything and he knows about houses. You can have your uncle come and look at the home for you. Just know that and even if it comes to us doing repairs, if he's, especially if it's best that he's licensed, only because of that fact we can say, hey, we did have a licensed contract to look at X, Y, and Z. Because if we do decide to go back and ask for repairs, you want to have some sort of type of information that's backing that up. Now, and just a little bit more about inspections, when you go through with that as well, we do have on our team a coordinator, our transaction coordinator. He's actually our concierge service, Carlos Mcfadden. And one of the things that he does is that when it comes time to you getting those things, I wish I could pull him on camera, but he's a little shy.
Yeah, he's too shy.
But he's the one that's standing in the corner back there, everyone. Carlos, if you don't mind just raising your hand for us right quickly. That's Carlos Mcfadden. When you go on the contract, he is the one that assists us with getting all these inspections. And not just
Right.
only that, but anything paperwork wise, because everybody's like, okay, I'm under contract, what do I do now? Well, what you do now is that you basically going to work more with your lender. Carlos is going to be in touch with you to make sure there's any other additional paperwork that may be needed. But not only that, he is also your support to where if you have questions about anything that you're receiving from the lender, he is there. We tag team together, and it has worked. And we ask our clients all the time. They love the setup that we have. You know, when we close, I promise you, they're all like, "Where's Carlos at?" Because he's worked so closely with them on the files. But that's what it's all about when you work with the deals with the Angie team. It's not, you get exactly that. You have a team of support that is going to be there with you throughout the entire process. Now, step 6 with the appraisal. People are like, okay, Angelina, I just had a home inspection. Why I gotta also get an appraisal? Well, the appraisal is for the lender, and the appraisal is something that you pay for. And what they're doing is they are the ones you're saying, hey, Mr. Lender, I'm going to pay for this appraisal to show that this house is worth $200,000 that I want this contract for. That's what the lender is wanting. Because at the same time, they're the ones that's lending you this money. They want to make sure that they're also making a good investment as well. Now, certain people ask, okay, well, what if, especially now with these higher prices, what if now the appraiser doesn't appraise? And to be honest with you guys, it's really a hit and miss when it comes to appraisals. There have been times throughout my career where I'm like, it's gonna appraise, this is perfect, we got it right on the nose, and it comes up short. And we're like, what are you doing? We have that. And then there's been times where I'm like, there's no way it's gonna appraise. Because keep in mind, when we're listing properties, it's all about what the sellers want us to list it for. And there have been times where I'm like, I don't think it's gonna appraise. And I'm preparing the clients, like, hey, it may not appraise, it may not. And you know what happens? It appraises. So really it's all about who goes in there. It is also determined on the loan types that you have. Certain loan types have certain types of appraisals. Some of them are a little bit more detailed, some of them are not. It just depends on the type of loan type that you qualify for, and then also that you may ultimately choose. Now, if it falls below purchase price, a lot of the offers that we're seeing now, they offer an appraisal gaps. And a lot of times people are like, okay, what are the appraisal gaps? Appraisal gaps are this itself. There may be that a seller may request for you to do an appraisal gap, especially if you're offering a lot over an apartment. Well, we will work together to orchestrate that to where you would know exactly what needs to be done and what's expected of you. Each appraisal gap will be different because they also have different terms. But just know that there is a contingency on your offers that we do include that includes their appraisals. But we normally try to have these things worked out prior. But sometimes they are going to just come in short. We just recently had an investment property for someone, and it came in shorter. But because of the fact we wrote that contingency, we were able to go back to the seller and the listing agent and state, hey, this is the proof of where this came in at. We're asking for this to be reduced. Now, what you got to do, remember though, is that the seller doesn't have to automatically agree to reducing the price. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they may ask, okay, I will, but I may need you to bring an extra $2,000-3,000, and they have the right to ask that. But you also have the right to decline. And if that's the case, and at that point, what we'll do is release the contract. Your earnest money that you have put up will be refunded back to you, and it just means we'll just start the search over again. Okay. Step 7. These are the words that we love to hear. Clear to close. When it comes to that, those are like music to our ears, because what that means is that you are there. You are there. You have given everything to Ron. You have gotten everything, which is the lender. You have provided him with things, and you are set to go, and we are going to close. Now, before we walk to that closing table, a couple of things happen. We're going to do a walkthrough. So you will not be closing on a property and have not walked through it one last time. Because our job is we want to make sure that the house still looks the same. Because it's been 30 days, since you've been, sometimes, 15 to 30 days since you've been in the property. So we're going to make sure that we do that at the table. Another thing is, and Ron will go in more details about this, we're going to do one more final look at your paperwork and making sure that all the numbers kind of round up or count up the way that they're supposed to be, and that everything that was agreed upon in the contract is in there for you too as well. Now, at a time when you do have that closing, you will get your keys. A lot of people ask, well, when do I get my when can I move in? Well, you can get them when you please. When you get your keys, that's when you can move in. Unless it's dictated, something is stated differently in the contracts, because we do have it now where, because everybody's moving so fast, they're having to where they may stay in the property for 7 days or 3 to 4 days, because guys, it is just like how the housing market is booming, so are other markets too as well. So it's really hard for moving companies, it's really hard for people to land down a moving company. So we are starting to see more of those dates kind of be a little bit more creative, so to speak. What can we do for you? We can help you visualize your dreams. We can match your price range. We can build wealth and legacy. And also, we want you to become a client for a lifetime. We have clients to where it is, we have been on the journey with them from when their children have just been born to now they're older, and to where they've gotten married, now expecting children, to where they've relocated from here to there. You know, we've been on this journey with our clients, and when you come to work with us, it's not just you working, it's just not us selling you a home. It's us being a part of your journey. And I'm grateful for everyone who continues to support us. I'm grateful for all my future clients, and also I'm grateful for the partners such as Ron that I'm able to work with, because we truly enjoy what we're doing here, and we feel that it is our mission to assist and do exactly this when it comes to real estate. All right, your average buying benchmarks, like we talked about, real estate strategy call, where we talk about what we're going to do, your pre-approval process, showing appointments with the agents, going into contract, closing the home. Next, if to connect with us, everything that I have is at Deals with Angie, from YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. DealsWithAngie.com. Please, Ron and I, we do a segment every second Tuesday where we talk about giving you points on what to buy. I know a lot of you all signed up as far as we're coming in, and then and you'll also be giving some information as well. All right, what's your next step? Your next step is you need to just set up an appointment. A lot of you have told us what it is that you're looking for, and so what we'll be doing is, with the information that you filled out, we'll be setting up something to have a consultation to kind of go over what's going to be particularly to you, because everybody's process, their selling and their buying process is different, and so that's what we'll be doing. All right. And again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you all's time and attention today and showing up on this beautiful day, and we look forward to serving you. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and certainly it's good to be here. For those that are watching live stream, we are here in Northeast Columbia at the beautiful Hilton Gardens Hotel on Farrell Road, Columbia. Big shout out to them for permitting us to host you all in this seminar, and those that are sharing with us live stream today as well. We want to thank everybody. I want to applaud Miss Angelina and the Deal with Angie team. Her husband, yes, Carlos Mcfadden, is here with us as always, and we're thankful to the both of them for allowing me to partner with them as we continue the journey of helping people become homeowners and helping people move to the next level in their life. That's what it's all about for us. That's our passion, and that's what we love to do. So I want to just give a quick rundown, and I won't be long, but I do want to just take you a little bit through the process of the mortgage lending aspect, which can be the most difficult part. We were strangers in that land until we entered into the pandemic market, and then all of a sudden buying a house, just getting in the contract, became just as challenging as what working through the mortgage process can be. So we do have some company now. Yeah, we do have some company now. But nonetheless, our team, between the two of us, our Columbia branch office, we are experienced in doing what we're doing. We've been doing this over 27 years, and we bring a lot of expertise to the table. And it's almost no loan type. There isn't a loan type that we hadn't seen. There isn't a situation we hadn't seen before. There isn't a form of income, retirement, asset that we haven't been accustomed to working with. We know how to work with all situations. We haven't seen credit that's been the very worst, and we've seen credit that's been the very best. We deal with all parameters and all people because everybody's situation is unique and everybody's situation is different. So we're here to help empower you through home ownership because home ownership is an investment. It's a retirement plan. It's wealth building. It's an opportunity to leave an asset behind. It's an opportunity to pass wealth on to the next generation as well. So again, I'm Ron Williams, and I work for Silverton Mortgage Company. And my bio here says 24 years. It's actually 27 years now. But that I've been in the industry, and I love what I do and have a passion for it. It's ministry to me. It's more than just helping you get the dollars and cents that you need to close on your loan, but it's also taking your life to another level. Your home is where your heart is. It's where you live with your family, where you raise your children. So we're excited to be a part of that process. Again, our aim today is just to teach you how to navigate through the mortgage process, to understand how it's done. We want you to be educated to the process. There's a little formula that we use. We call it the CIAs of mortgage lending. And we use that acronym CIA simply because when you think in terms of the CIA government-wise, it's the Central Intelligence Operations, a unit, association, and part of our alliance, part of our government. Is always very secretive. Their work is undercover. Their work is not visible. They're the ones that are spying, looking places, and turning over things that no one else thinks about. Well, when it comes to mortgage lending, I almost equate that as being the same thing. We look into some of every places. We uncover all kinds of things because we want to make sure that the home that you're applying for and the loan that you're attempting to get, that it will be a valuable loan, a good loan, and that you will be happy with it, and it will be ultimately happy with you, because success is being able to pay for it, being able to pay it off at some point. So in order to get in that process, there are three things that you're going to need that is very important. CIAs, keep that in mind. It's credit, it's income, and it's assets. The C stands for credit, the I stands for income, and the C stands for assets. You need all three of these to my live stream audience as well, in-person audience. You need all three of these in order to make it work. Oftentimes, people, when they're focused on buying a house, the only thought is credit, 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 and they don't put any thought to income and assets. And credit is the doorway. We need credit to be the intro, what gets us in the playing field. Credit is vitally important, but credit isn't the only thing. Income is very vital to the process. You know, I oftentimes tell my clients that even if you don't have the best credit, we can help you with the credit process. We got tools that we use in the present day that help us improve your credit, help us get your credit score to the floor to where you can gain entry into perhaps buying. But what we can't help you with is income. We can't help you with assets. These are things you're going to have to accumulate and bring to the table as part of the process. So job stability is important. Having a job is important. Having a stable income. If you're self-employed, same applies to you. You got to have a stable stream of income. You can't start a business today and want to apply for a house tomorrow. But you need 2 years of history so that the bank is able to see that you're qualified, that you have a solid stream of income, and that your business is working now. So that's vitally important to create that stream of income. Assets are important. What is assets? Assets is what money you're going to have to put as down payment. Now, I want you to hear me, both audiences, this is very important. I see signs all the time, no money down, 100% financing. You don't have to have any money at all, come and buy a house. I wish I could tell you that was true. While there are programs that will permit you to where a down payment is not required, such as a VA loan, it offers 100% financing. USDA loans offer 100% financing, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to have any money. There are additional costs to all buyers. Buyers are responsible for closing costs. Closing costs is a buyer's responsibility. So while you may be relieved of having to come up with qualified down payment on a loan, you still have to have money for closing costs. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes,
Yeah.
that makes sense. You gotta have money for both. It's down payment and it's closing costs. But then there's a third element that's important too that oftentimes people don't think about is what we call reserves in the lending business. Reserves is just how much money you're gonna have after you paid your down payment, your closing costs. What are you gonna have left over to live with? What you gonna have in emergency funds? So all of these things are vitally, vitally important. But I want you to think about CIAs. I need credit, I need income, and I need assets. Assets can be 401k, as long as you're capable of drawing out a 401k. Do I have any state employees in the room? If you are a state employee, you're on state retirement. State retirement, unfortunately, does not qualify as an asset. It doesn't qualify as an asset. Let me tell you why. The only way that you can draw state in retirement out is that you leave your position, so it alleviates your income. So in that instance, state retirement does not qualify as an asset. Now, if you were leaving the state, drawing out your money, going to another job, then that's different. But if you're going to remain on that particular job, then it's not an asset that we can use. So stocks, bonds, mutual funds, any type of funds that you can draw on is what we consider an asset. Now, I want to give you this quickly because we're almost out of time. There are four different types of loans that generally are available in the marketplace. Four different types. There's what we call a conventional loan. Conventional right now in this current market is what's known as the most preferred loan. While conventional is known as the most preferred loan, it also is the most difficult to qualify for. You have to have excellent credit, pretty good credit, a minimum of at least a 620 score. And while it starts at a 620 score, real approvals really don't happen until you get to about a 640 score in reality. But there are instances where 620 will work. Um, Sellers like these types of loans because it indicates to a seller when they get a pre-approval that if a person has a conventional loan, they're a well-qualified buyer. And the appraisal qualifications isn't as stringent as it is on some of our government-based loans. Does that make sense to everybody? So the most preferred is a conventional. We also have, which is what we call the most frequent loan in our area in Columbia, is an FHA loan. Why? Because FHA offers the smallest down payment. It also have credit scores that can go as low as a 580, so it's easier intro into the FHA market, and it offers an option to allow borrowers that are first-time home buyers to really get into the marketplace. All right. The next form is what we call a military loan, and that's a government VA loan. VA loans are for veterans, persons that have served and got a honorable discharge and have access to a certificate of eligibility. You can go up to 100% financing. 100% financing. These loans are very popular in our area because we are on a government, we're in a city where we have Fort Jackson and a large base. So VA loans are available. Then finally, we have what we call USDA loans. USDA loans are rural development loans. You've seen that term, that acronym USDA, that is United States Department of Agriculture, And under that department, they have a home buy-in division, a home mortgage division that are designed to have loans available in rural areas. So most of these are properties that are in certain areas, generally it's very rural areas, but they will give you an incentive to buy at 100% financing if you decide to move into that area that the government is trying to populate, all right? So those loans generally start at about a 640 credit score, can be at a 620 in some instances, but they're really hard on what we call debt ratio. All right, so those are the four types of loans. So let's look at how we get into these loans. Credit score wise, we talked a little bit about, we understand that the C is for credit. All persons has to have good credit today. You got to have qualified credit. There's no need in me telling you that you can have credit that won't work. No, you got to have good credit. You can work on it. You can work on it, and we can point you in the right direction. So we always ask people, they laughing at my signs here live, y'all, to the streaming audience. We always have tools available now to help guide you in that. Many people go and get credit repair help on their own, but we always advise that you come and do an application with us because an application will allow us to look at the three dimensions of what we need: credit, income, and assets. We have tools and systems and people that we can actually get you mortgage qualified, which is more important for buying a home. All right. So you've heard about credit scoring, and these are just some of the factors of what it takes to make up a good credit score: paying your bills on time, using your credit cards less, having a history of credit that's developed. I get a lot of buyers now, 40, 50 years old, and they pay cash for everything, and they have no credit history. Well, no credit history can be as bad as having bad credit. So you have to establish some credit. So if you're listening to me and you have no credit history, go and apply for some type of loan, preferably a credit card, a secure card. Get your credit started today, okay? All right, I'm moving on here because we're almost out of time. Um, know your credit score. There are tools available. There are tools available free nowadays. Many of you know about Credit Karma. Many of the institutions that we bank with, I bank with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo offer me free credit score once a month. They offer that, so we urge you to take advantage of that through your bank, through your credit union. Are we good still like that? Okay, all right. We're running out of time. All right, so that's what I want you to do in understanding credit. You can always speak to us about credit. You can always speak to us about these things. We talked about income a little bit, and just to give you a breakdown of income, in order to qualify, you've got to have 2 years of employment history, W-2s, or if you're a W-2 employee, work for a company, or if you're self-employed, we need you to have 2 years of tax returns. And we always look at your most recent pay stubs to determine where your income is located. Finally, with assets, we've already talked about those a little bit and some of the types of assets accounts that you need to have or can have in order to qualify. All right. Now, some of the questions that I've already received prior to coming forward today is, how long does it take to process an application? Generally speaking, it's a 30-day process. It's a 30-day process. Can be less than 30 days, depending upon certain things. We're at the mercy of appraisals and things that are outside of our unit that are third-party tools that we have to wait for. Appraisals in certain areas, I got one right now that's taking just about a month because it's in a very rural area, and it takes a while to get those back, and it also depends upon the speed of the appraisals. So there are things there that, generally speaking, about a 30 to 35-day process. One of the other questions that was asked of me is, what about state housing type programs? Are those programs available? Down payment assistance? Yes, down payment assistance programs are available through South Carolina State Housing. The majority of the time, it's what we call a bond product. It's an $8,000 down payment assistance loan. It is a loan. It's known as a second mortgage, but it's a non-repayable loan. And most times, if you stay in the house for a 10-year period, then it actually fades away, and it's no cost to you. But if you decide to move within that 10-year period, then you may be at risk of having to pay that $8,000 back. The ideology is to create home ownership and to get you to stay within the county, within the state for a certain period of time. There are credit qualifications for those. They start at a 620 credit score. We even also have voucher programs available now through state housing. So if a person is on Section 8 housing and they want to buy a home, you can actually do so. Instead of allowing that assistance to go toward rent, it can actually go toward home ownership. One of the other questions we get, but do we do jumbo loans? Yes, we do loans that are in the millions of dollars. We do all types of loans that are beyond the Fannie Mae loan limit of 652. We go much higher than that, $800,000, $1 million loans. We have those loans available as well. Some of the other questions we get is, what about the rising rates right now? Well, I'm glad you all asked that question because rates have been rising. We're in an inflationary moment, government-wise, countrywide, worldwide. Rates have been extremely turbulent here lately because of the war that we're in and because of some of the things that are happening globally. We are in a global economy now, which simply means that what happens overseas affect us here. You see, when the war started, the gas prices went up, and ultimately, what are we paying? Higher gas prices. Well, same is the case with mortgage interest rates. They have climbed as well, but rates are still at a historically low place. As I mentioned to you earlier, I've been doing this for 27 years. It's not that I'm that old, by the way. It's not that I'm that old. It just means that I just started that young. That's what it means. But when I first started, rates were at 15 and 16%. I literally can remember telling people, your rate today is 15%. And they would jump up and down and scream, oh my God, did y'all get me at 15%? And so, we've been spoiled by what we've seen, and we've lost a lot economically by such. But there is still time to take advantage of historically low rates that are below 5%. They are still available. Now, what you need to do in closing is simply apply. You're watching us via the live stream. If you're here with us this morning, and I'm doing on-site applications, by the way, doing on-site applications, but my application link has been simplified. I used to have to send out this long link, www.silvertonmortgage.com/Ron Williams, which is, some people can remember that, some people can't. I got something new for you now. It's simply apply-with-ronwilliams.com. Apply-with-ronwilliams.com. Isn't that simple? Yes. You can remember that, yes. Apply-with-ronwilliams.com. And that's going to take you direct to my page, and it's going to allow you to apply and give us the information that we need in order to look at your picture, customize a plan for you, plan that will fit your needs. We're able to look at it and view it through the CIA's credit, income, and assets. We can either tell you you're ready to buy now, or we can tell you we're going to put a plan together to make sure you're able to buy later. That's what we're going to do for you. So reach out to myself, apply at ronwilliams.com. Angelina Mcfadden deals with Angie team, and can't wait to serve you guys. And I want to thank you, those that are watching this live stream. We're going to go off, but for those that are present here, we're going to talk a few more minutes. All right, y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much, Ron. And for those of you all, as he stated, he has to apply with Ron Williams. I'm so glad you did that.
Yes. Isn't that great?
I need that.
Yes,
that's
great.
I
So
need
much
that.
better.
And for those, because we already have you all's paperwork in regards to setting up. I know some of you all have been back there already scheduling your times. But for those online who also want to get your consultation, you can go to www.dealswithangie.com. So we both have different same things. Apply with ronwilliams.com and dealswithangie.com. Thank you all so much. Thank you guys for the live. We're about to
Thank
click
you.
off. All right, guys. I know we had some other things we're going to talk about here.